Hi everybody, this is DearMamaSal and it's Sunday afternoon. As you can see, the sun is streaming in. It's a beautiful day and welcome. For those of you who don't know, DearMamaSal is all about helping you cope with love life and other problems. And we do three broadcasts a week, easy for me to say. We do count them, three broadcasts a week, one on Friday lunchtime, which is our skills learning moment. And this week we were learning, what did we do this week? I just gone blank. It was fun, I know that. Seriously. I'm going to think of it in a minute. Hi, Linda, how are you doing? We were doing hydroponics, yes. How to grow... When you get my age, you'll understand this. How to grow plants just using water. And I got a bean. Oh, I don't believe it. I've actually got a bean. Benny the bean. There it is. Oh, okay. So we planted it mid-May, and it's now... Wow, that didn't take long, did it? How many of you are quite excited about that because you've watched it grow from a seedling? There's another one right there. Look at that. There's a second one right there. Ah! And there's a tiny little third one up here. You probably can't see it. Anyway, so Benny, yeah, so doing really well. Okay, where was I? We do three broadcasts a week. One of them is one on Friday lunchtime is about learning something. The one on Friday evening, Pacific time, 7 o'clock Pacific time, is about laughing. And this third one on a Sunday afternoon, Pacific time, we do it 3:30 to 5, is about getting grounded and just taking it easy. When I say taking it easy, it's about how to just stay in the present more than anything. And the reason I do three completely different broadcasts is because I believe those are the three things that will keep you happy. All right. So hi there as well. Keep on learning, keep on laughing, and keep on being real and present and in the reality of today. Under the heading of be prepared and not scared, and it's one of our mantras, we just want to acknowledge again that Jeannie's house caught on fire this week, and that she and York are busy living in a hotel at the moment. Luckily, they had good insurance, so that's all going to get covered. But she basically has lost all her clothes and all sorts of things, and I'm working with her to try and find out how we can best support her. And I will be getting back to you probably on the Facebook page. For those of you who don't know, please make sure you follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. And by the way, if you haven't already, subscribe right here and press the bell. And when it says, do you want all the notifications? The answer is yes, because if I need to cancel a broadcast or if I'm doing an extra one, I will announce it and you'll get it on your email immediately. You'll be up to date. All right, so that's the first thing. I just wanted to update you on that one. The other thing is, in terms of be prepared and not scared, I just contacted Lolo down in Louisiana because she's basically in the line. She's in the line of the storm. And so the reality is that she is fine at the moment. I just managed to get hold of her just before I came onto the cast. And she says it's a bit windy at the moment, but she's okay. So there is Jeannie. So hi, Jeannie. Good to see you. And Jeannie, let us know if you can. I appreciate the fact you gave me your address. But what I want to make sure that we have is it okay for me to give out your email, for example, if people want to forward you a gift card via email? That's what I would like to know. Because if the answer to that is yes, it'll be a faster way for us to get you, a bit of room to get what you need. So I would prefer not to be giving out your address. I don't, to me, that's a bit scary. When, as much as I love my viewers, I don't know a lot of them as well as I would like to before I gave out your address. And, I am a little bit picky about that. It's part of, I don't give out people's information, even if nice people ask me. It's just like, it's not my business to give out your address. It is your business. So I would prefer to be able to do it a different way if I can. All right, just so you know, that's my fear. All right, so Jeannie, just let us know. When you get the new one, you'll let us know. Okay, fine. That would be awesome. Why don't you have email? That stays with you wherever you are. Anyway, when you get your new phone, no, you don't need a new phone. Just go to Google and get one now. And not now, but, today. You don't need a new one. You see, the good news is when you have Gmail, wherever you go, you've got your email. So I never even thought about that. All right, so for those of you who have a subject you'd like us to talk about on any of those 3 broadcasts, please contact me at DearMamaSal@gmail.com. Okay, so that is, okay, thank you. I'm going to take it, I'm not going to put that up publicly. I am going to take that back privately. Thank you very much. So that hasn't changed. Is there a full stop at the beginning? Is that intentional? Jeannie's just given me her email. And I will sort that out tomorrow or later today. Okay, thank you very much, honey. Okay, it starts with the J, right? It doesn't start with the... Yeah, that's right. That's what I thought. Okay. It's just the way I copied it. So I'll know that when I go back to it. Thank you very much, Jeannie. Wow, it's warm in here. So let us just carry on here for a second. Just a reminder, if you look for me at DearMamaSal on any of the obvious things, Facebook and Twitter and all those sort of things, it's the DearMamaSal. If you are trying to find me on Instagram, just know that somebody actually stole my name before I could register it. I was only about a month behind the ball. And, when I realized I actually do need Instagram, because in those days I'd never use it. When I realized, yeah, maybe I would, somebody had already taken my name. So if you want to see anything of mine in Instagram, please remember to look for The Real DearMamaSal, all one word. The other person, I've written to them and asked them if they'd like to give it back to me, but never mind. I've also written to Instagram and said if ever that account closes, just to let me know so I can get it back again. I want to tell you that on the Sunday evening broadcast, we are more about compassion and staying present, all right? And that's what we're going to do. Thanks, Jeannie's just telling us that she's emailed me about the situation. And just make sure, Jeannie, that you tell me what I can share, because obviously people have been asking, but we don't share unless you give me permission, all right? And I know that Jodi's been asked about some stuff, and, Jodi knows better as well. And Jodi said it's not for her to share, it's for you to do. You're left with nothing but the dog. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and part of the reason that I wanted to ask you about that is I need to know in what order, your needs are. You understand, because I just would like to know, would it be easier and more helpful if we gave you like Walmart type gift cards, or would it be more helpful if we gave you Amazon ones? Help me help you. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay. And also that way you can choose what order you get things in and who you want to thank and so forth. I wanted to let you know that one of the things I realized is I asked myself a lot of questions during the week. And one of the questions that I asked myself was, I was busy, you remember the hemp oil story? Well, I was busy taking hemp oil. And then also during the same day, I suddenly saw the apple cider vinegar. And I thought, you know, both hemp oil and apple cider vinegar are supposedly good for you. Hi there, Sandy. So why am I not adding them to my salad dressing? You know, it was just like, I have a salad every day, or I try to. And I'm thinking, if I know that apple cider vinegar is good for me, and if I know that the hemp oil will supposedly help my arthritis, why aren't I just making my salad dressings with those in them? So if you have any questions that you ask yourself this week, you know, and you'd like to share them because you're going, duh, then let me know. The other question that I had for myself since the Friday broadcast was, you know, that I stand now to do the broadcast rather than sit. And also some of you probably know that I have a desk thing here. And during the week, I have my computer in the corner here. So that when I use my computer, I'm also standing. And I wondered whether, now that we've had the standing desk craze, if you like, sort of been a while, it's been going on for a while, whether they've done any surveys to find out, is it really that much more beneficial? Quite honestly, they do say you burn more calories. Okay, if you just stand and use your computer rather than sit, it's not a whole lot more, but it is a lot more. But what I find I do, and I'm going to move back a bit, when I'm working at my computer, I find that I'm sort of lifting my leg like this, or I'll be typing sort of up here, and I can't do that, and I'll put my hands down, and I'll do a few of these to try and stretch my legs a bit. And so for me, the other thing I'm inclined to do is while I'm thinking, have you noticed you sort of type and then you need a thinking moment? When I'm thinking, I'm inclined to try and do some squats. So for me, I can definitely feel, I can definitely feel the difference in what I'm doing. And the other thing is, I found when I was sitting on that futon, I was scrunched up like this, really bad posture. How many of you are sitting at the moment, watching or listening? And what I would challenge you to do is, you know, when you might even want to do it now if you can, which is to stand up and stand straight and put your hands behind your back in what I call the Prince Philip thing, where he always walked with his hands behind his back. And I know now why, because it forces you to have good posture. And then what I find I do is to push my hands down. And I realize that is not a bad posture. Now, let me show you the difference. I'm sitting here and I'm typing away, and I stand up, I put my hands behind my back, and then I push down. Can you see the difference of what happens to my body? The other thing I wanted to make sure that you understood was I am now making it a practice. Do any of you have any doors in your house or wherever you live? And if so, I try to make a point of at least once a day stopping within a door frame. And I stand against the door frame so that my butt, my shoulders, and the back of my head all are touching the door frame. I want to tell you, that's amazing how that straightens you up. And you realize that normally you're standing like this. It really makes you stand up and use different muscles. And then I start doing, I do press-ups against the other door frame. Does that make sense? I put it like this and I start doing those. I'm trying to increase my upper body strength. All right. So this is, Jeannie's just saying that between the nerves, the stress, she has Crohn's disease. She's eating, she's not eating her own food. All those things are having an impact on her. She's having to eat hotel food. Wow. The good news is you found the passports. Wonderful. Hi, Beth. Good to see you. Yes, Beth is saying, hello, I'm standing up folding clothes while watching on my iPad. This time, you're not in my bathroom with me. My husband came in and said, who are you talking to? Then he grinned and he said, oh, Mama Sal. Yeah, it's, I love the multitasking of it as well, Beth. I think you and Beth, I was going to ask you whether you would like to give us a cleaning tip of the week, on a sort of pretty regular basis. And, if you want to send me 6 and I'll just space them out over the next 6 weeks, I thought that would be, you're such an expert at it. And I was thinking, I am certain that you're, oh, good. I'm glad. That looks like the exclamation marks tell me that you like that idea. That's good. Jody and I were discussing that we also, and I hope that Jamie comes in, but we were thinking it'd be really nice if Jamie could give us a health and fit and wellness type tip of the week as well, with all that she does. So I'm going to be on that, trying to get hold of Jamie if she doesn't come into the broadcast today, to try and get that organized. But I was thinking, we've got incredible resources here and it would be lovely to use them. So a quick tip, just so those of you who might not have been listening on Friday, I had a couple of tips about saving money. Number one is don't throw your apple cores away. I found that throwing them into your blender with some water, and by the way, if you've got the ability to have sparkling water, you've got a soda stream or something, to throw, to first of all blend them and then add the sparkling water. It ends up being a really nice fiberful apple drink. Now, for those of you like myself who take Metamucil or something like that every day, I use my apple core that I have every day. I use that and mix it in with my Metamucil, and I have an orange flavored Metamucil, and I actually throw in some orange peel with it as well, which I've washed, of course. But it's just like, it's like, don't throw it away. We know that I don't put in a whole peel of orange, but I'll throw in, a couple of pieces, with peel on them. And then it just makes a really nice fruit drink that is healthy with lots of fiber. Well, I just did that. That's exactly what I just did, Beth. That's saying I wish someone would do a moment of stretching or a yoga thing that we could all do at the beginning of the broadcast to get centered. I actually did just that. I was explaining, if you just put your hands behind your back as you're standing there and sort of just literally push down, it's a great stretch and it really helps your posture. The other thing that I'm really trying to work on, and I don't know if anybody other than myself needs to, I am really trying to find little things I can do to help me balance better. At my age, losing my balance is a very real fear. You miss everything. Yes, Beth, that's okay, honey. But so Beth, you understand that when you're folding, in between folding, every now and then, just put your hands behind your back and stretch right down. And it's amazing what it does. The other thing, Beth, that I suggested was when you walk through a door frame, literally stand against it and get your butt, your shoulders, and the back of your head all on that door frame. And then you can lean forward and just do a couple of press-ups against the other frame. And it's, you're nice and safe because you're in a door frame and you've got something to hold on to, but it's a nice way to just do a little bit of exercise. Okay. All right. So for those of you who are not regulars, we are now obviously talking a lot more about Black Lives Matter. And I would like to say all lives matter. And I think this is a wonderful time, and I'm going to be including a compassionate type comment now in all of our broadcasts. And as you know, what I have one of my sons is somebody of color, and I actually have written to him and asked him. This was my challenge to myself. I asked him, I want to know, honey, what do I do that is not right? You see, I'm not presuming that I'm not a racist. I want to know, what do I do? Because the fact that I think that I'm not racist doesn't mean that I'm not. Does that make sense? Beth is saying she went to a protest in her area. Good for you. 1,500 people, all peaceful. Yep. If they keep it peaceful, it's going to be a lot louder. You took your grandkids with you. Yes, it's part of history. I am sure this is part of history more than anything else. And before I get on to today's quotes, just a reminder that June 9th is Anna Marie's birthday, and also it is the 5-year anniversary of Jody being cancer-free. So, I mean, she's still got the lymphedema, but she's got the cancer-free. So, that's wonderful to hear. So happy birthday to Anna Marie. If you happen to listen to this on the rebroadcast or whenever, we wish you a big hug and we love you. And Jody, just well done. And you're doing so many good things. And Jody, all the good things that you're doing is, you are helping me. And if you help me, you're helping everybody, right? Because we are all passing these wonderful things on. And by the way, for those of you who know that I lost 10 pounds. And then when the pandemic started, I put on a whole stack of more, 5 back on again, at least. I'm now nearly back down to where I was, and I've nearly lost that extra weight again, so I can go back to getting on track where I was. And I haven't got my phone here, otherwise I could prove it. But I just want to tell you that I am doing what I can. But I'm amazed how I shoot myself in the foot. I had such a healthy day of eating yesterday. I really did. And round about midnight, I opened up a packet of caramel corn and I had half a bag. What am I thinking? It's just like, I don't know if any of you relate to this. It was like I was being so good. I want to start by reading you something I found that I thought was so meaningful. It's called The 12 Most Beautiful Questions Ever Asked. So just take a moment and just breathe and relax. And if you can, if you're in a position that you can do it, you even close your eyes and just listen to these questions. And if you have answers that you want to share, feel free to do so. If you're listening in the rebroadcast of this, if you pick it up on YouTube later and you want to add it into the comments, we'd be delighted. And by the way, don't forget to give us a thumbs up here, because that all helps our positioning. So listen to these questions and tell me what comes up for you if you care to. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Just take a moment. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? I'm pretty certain that you all know I'd be doing exactly what I'm doing right now. Right? I would be continuing to do what I'm doing. It is the one thing that I just really am interested in doing. What would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? I would invest my money this week. So I need to get over that fear. I don't know about you. Anybody got any input? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And while you're typing, I'm going to go on to the next question. Who thinks you are beautiful when you wake up in the morning? I wonder if any of you can look in the mirror and say, "Hi, beautiful." I'm actually, I must admit, there are days that I look at myself in the mirror and I'm going, I'm glad that I'm the only one to see you right now. All right, so Jeannie's saying, I'd help others more. It's hard to be on the receiving end. Yes, I know it is, Jeannie. You're a giver. So receiving is your challenge. And I do believe, because I don't believe in coincidences, I do believe, Jeannie, that you are being given an incredible gift indirectly. You are being given the gift to learn how to be able to receive and do it gracefully. Because whenever you deny a gift, think about it, you are being rude to the person that is trying to help you. And so from that perspective, I would ask you to please be aware that there are an awful lot of good people out there. And this is not about whatever mantra you have in your house about, we don't borrow money, or we don't take charity in our family. It's not about that. That's old stuff. This is about, there is a whole group of people in your life that want to help you. And you need to learn to say thank you, knowing that you would do exactly the same for them. And so, Jeannie, part of your learning is to remember that you are equally entitled to receive. Not, I don't do that. We don't do that. We are givers. No. I have a good friend of mine, Jeannie, who tells me that the day that she was really struggling, I handed her a check one day and she said, "No, that's okay, Sal, don't worry," and handed it back. And I don't mind telling you, Jeannie, I went up one side of her and down the other, and I was not polite, and I used words that she hadn't heard from me. And I said, how dare you be so rude to me? How dare you deny me the pleasure of being able to help a friend? I want you to seriously think about what you're doing. Now, do me a favor. I'm going to give this to you again, and this time, keep it. I'm not asking you to return it. I'm not asking you to do anything but to take the money and get what you need, whatever that is. Learn to receive. And it's funny, Jeannie, because she spent the rest of it, that was probably 30 years ago. And almost any time that we are in, a group of something, she will tell the story and said, if I take the biggest lesson I ever learned from Sal, it was how to receive. I never realized I was being rude before. And here's a really nice question as well that was asked. And if you want to answer it, feel free to type it, how are you really? It's funny because people, send us an email, or they'll send us a tweet or whatever, and, say, how are you? And we type back, fine, great, good, thanks, But when you think about it, how many people do you tell the truth to? So my truth today, if you were to ask me, how are you really? I am pretty sore. A lot, a lot of my arthritis is giving me problems. But I'm doing better because I'm realizing that the more I stretch and the more I do to support my body, the better I'm going to be with that. I had a moment yesterday where I was quite sad. And I'm not quite sure what happened, but I was quite sad. And I think it was, I'm sad that I can't entertain or do the things I sort of envisaged doing here over the summer. But it's getting better. It'll any minute now we'll be able to do something, I think, and it'll be pretty safe. So remember that question and ask yourself every day, when you answer that thing that somebody, how are you doing? Great, thanks. You go, wait a minute. Is this somebody I want to tell the truth to? But you don't have to have a pity party. I find that what I do to my real friends is say, my obvious answer is great, but quite honestly, I'm sore today, or I haven't had enough sleep today, or, whatever it is. For some reason, the night before last, I only had 2.5 hours sleep. I have no idea what was going on in my mind. And then last night I went to bed and gave myself full permission to sleep as much as I could. And I did 10 hours. So, okay. Next question. How would you behave if you were the best in the world at what you do? How would you behave if you were the best in the world at what you do? Would you behave any differently? And while you're answering that, Beth is answering on the previous question, which is, how am I? Changes every hour. Some days I know how I really am, but mostly I still question myself. Yes. Beth, I think how you really are is courageous, how you really are. Find a word that is you every day, all right? But I agree with you. You have a lot of health issues going on, not only for you, but also for your family. And therefore, that you've got so many emotions going on. And plus you work like a Benji, right? And so I think you are the epitome of a role model that I would, whenever I think, oh, I just haven't got the energy, I go, yeah, I bet your Beth would do it. And then the other voice in my other shoulder goes, yeah, but she's a bit younger. And I'm going, it doesn't really matter. She has other things going on. So thank you for being an inspiration to me. Here's another question. Are you finding your dream job or are you creating it? I think back, Beth, and funny enough, to when somebody in your life, I think it was a sister or something, said to you that, you're going to take that job. And, I look at all the wonderful things that you are doing within that job. And I can see you turning it into your dream job in many ways. All right. Because you get to help people, you get to educate people, you get to be responsible, be a role model that you obviously love to do. I'm thinking about all the things you created, in a way, a dream job. Jeannie's reporting back 3 high school friends, Margot, Donna, and myself. Margot got a gift certificate to me through Donna, and Donna spent time with me in the hotel suite. She gave York some PJs. It made us feel so grateful. Yes, I think that's these are the lessons, and I want you to take every lesson that you have. You are people of faith, so I'm pretty certain that your church will be doing what they can to support you as well. Yeah, Niesh is saying, I'm a very giving person, but not much is returned, and it saddens me. However, I'm learning to change all that. Yes, Niesh, what you will find is that when you give without any expectation, ever, of return, that is the difference. To me, it's like, it's just like we have things that we can give that make a difference in people's lives. And it's okay to give. And I don't need, if I always say to people, if one person gets helped by a broadcast, it was worth doing, right? because, I'm very selfish like that. It's just like, I don't judge the success of Dear Mama Sal on how many views we've got or how many subscribers we've got or whatever. You see, it's more important to me that we were there for Jeannie when she needed us, or that we're there for Nyasha when she's struggling. You see, that to me is more important, right? Jeannie's saying they prayed for us at 2 masses, and our priest found me a Bible that I asked for. Isn't that wonderful, right? And I am certain that other members of the congregation will do what they can if you let them know what you need. I would really come up with a wish list, okay, and stick it on the church, and ask the priest if you can stick it on the notice board. And not have an ego about it, and not have, oh well, I shouldn't be doing that. You go, it's a wish list. It's not, you'll be amazed. They will, people have things that they can share, that they can give you. If there was, actually my mum's saying if there were a solution to your anxiety, what would it look like? Hi, Devon. Good to see you again. All right. What would a solution to your anxiety look like? I keep thinking that Jeannie has to get up every day and realize she's living in a hotel suite, not in her home. And, every day she needs to refocus and get present. She needs to let go of her ego about that. She needs to, understand that this is her new reality and be okay with it. And so, Jeannie, you have a lot to teach us, all right? You have so much to teach us in a way about what it's like to start again. When one moment you had your beautiful house and your big concern was the well for a while, and then suddenly, how much of the house was actually destroyed? Right. And she's saying a friend said we should accept money for appliances because the insurance will have depreciation. Yeah, they will depreciate the appliances. Yeah. So this is the whole thing. It's like, be aware that it's okay to accept when you're in need, and you are in need. It's not that, oh well, even that we've still got better. It's funny, I've always said, Jeannie, do we insure the value of the house or what that is worth to us? All right. And, that is a very difficult thing. Very difficult. One of the things I did, Jeannie, just so you know, when I insured my house, I went around the base core of this house without my stuff in it. And I took pictures of what the kitchen looked like, and and what other rooms looked like, so they couldn't say, well, it's an old house, it wasn't worth that. I'm going, no, this is what the floors look like. This is what, it had been completely sort of redone. So I think it's important. Yes, we are thankful to be alive. The roof caved in, lots of water damage. The fire marshal thinks it was totaled. Okay, so you're going to learn what it's like to start all over again. But you still own, did you own the property? I presume so. Because if so, the value is in the land anyway. And so, you get to rebuild the house. The interesting thing is they will probably not, I don't know. I mean, that'll be interesting to talk about that, Jeannie, and hear about that. Will they just give you a lump sum and say, we're giving you this amount of money, do what you like with it? If so, you're going to design a new house that actually is within that framework, that maybe is far more functioning for you. All right, you get to do it again. You own the property mortgage free. Exactly. So what I'm saying is, but you own the land. That's where the value is in the land, not the building. But to rebuild the building, that is, you might, if they do total it, it might be a completely different structure that you build, one that suits the next phase of your life better. Beth is saying, solution for my anxiety is to stop thinking that I have to do more, work harder, get more steps in a day than anyone else to make myself believe that I'm as good as anyone else. Yeah. And then Beth corrected herself because she could hear me. She said, not have to, but choose to. Yeah. Oh, that's a very good idea. So Jeannie says we have hired a person as a go-between. He works for us and he will work with the insurance company. I think that's very wise. And yeah, we will rebuild. Yeah, that's us. It'd be very interesting to hear, you're going to have a new house. And, the way we build houses today is very different from when that house was built, probably. And so you're going to be able to get probably a new kitchen. And think about that. And you're going to be able to get new bathroom fixtures. Think about that. You may have to wait 6 months to get them, maybe a year, but you probably wouldn't have been able to afford to do that in the normal circumstances. So there's part of me that says, Jeannie, you could see this a different way. All right. And then one of the questions is, what would, and fill in a name, if your big hero is Beyonce, what would Beyonce do? Some of you say, what would Sal do in a situation like this? But, what would Martin Luther King do in a situation like this? What would Obama do if you're a follower of Obama? Put a name in there and just go, how would they cope with this? Here's a nice question that some of you need to answer. Why are you worth knowing? Why are you worth knowing? And if you don't know the answer to that, ask your best friend. Oh, that is great to hear. Jeannie's saying that she has a fellow who is an old school construction guy, good finishes. He's going to make a house a home. Yes. It's funny. My next door neighbor is OCD in so many great ways about what he builds for his wife. And he offered to rebuild something in my garden. And I'm thinking I'd far rather give him the money because I know when it's finished, it's going to be square. And I know it's going to be properly built. And I know it'll last the rest of my lifetime. You know what I mean? So I'm going, I'd rather pay him than somebody I don't know. Yes, just saying, yes, it's good to take a photograph and document it, evidence, because any governmental-based institution are going to try and shortchange you to avoid paying out the full cost. And that's not a government thing, honey, Yasha. House insurance is private. It's not governmental. Devin, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Devin's just made a contribution towards the cost of running DearMamaSal. Isn't that kind of her? It's funny, Devin, because I say when I was working, I never had to worry about the cost of running DearMamaSal. Now that I'm retired and on a very limited budget, that contribution really helps me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So can any of you answer that question? Why are you worth knowing? Let me ask you something. Can you answer it for one another? All right. Sometimes that is easy in some ways. All right. But why are you worth knowing? Let me see. Let's go around the people that we are here. Oh, Jeannie's saying, we attended a funeral this afternoon for my cousin who died of liver cancer. We wore so clothes. I don't think anybody cared what clothes you were wearing, Jeannie. I am even surprised you would mention that. And I think that's part of the problem that we have in life. We think we got to dress up for a funeral. No, you need to go to a funeral. That is far more important. All right. So good for you for going. So good. Jeannie says, if they ask me, why am I worth knowing? I would answer, I am very strong and I am a great cook. Why am I worth knowing? I would say I'm very funny. And I am I'm a problem solver. Actually, why don't we do that this week? Why don't we ask our friends why they think we're worth knowing? Is that something we could all do? And I think we'll be quite surprised. You can say, I got asked the question this week, why am I worth knowing? It's one of the things they do, by the way, in a lot of management things, which is they ask you to go ask your friends questions like that. Yeah, Jeannie's saying, I'm also a faithful friend. Yes, I believe you. And I think you'll find that most of the people who are DearMamaSal people are pretty loyal friends from my experience. I know that, for example, when I wrote quickly to Lolo to make sure that she's all right in the eye of the storm, she said, thank you so much for caring. And I'm going, I always have. Why would I change now? Just because you don't come to the broadcast, there's very lot, it's got nothing to do with it. It's just like, I would worry about you. And how about this one? What or who lights you up? All right. What or who lights you up? And I would definitely say doing DearMamaSal lights me up. It sort of gives me focus. It gives me a reason to get up in the morning. It gives me great joy. It uses a lot of my talent. I would say that. I would say that about me. I am pretty talented in some ways, right? Why am I? Whatever that question was, why am I worth knowing? I got quite a few talents. I would say that. So, to me, who or what lights you up? What gets you going? Jody, Jody made a very good point, which was that had it not been for the pandemic and the need for masks, she would not have hauled out her sewing machine and started using it again after all these years, right? How, where the excuses fell away. The fact that I've got because she's got arthritis, the fact that I've got serious arthritis, the fact that I'm, lymphoderma, I can hardly move, my body is so swollen. But the fact that I've got this, irrelevant. It's just like, what lights you up? And so Devon's saying Donald Trump lights her up. Okay. But Jody's saying my husband, my friends, my puppy, and supporting people light her up. Yes, giving definitely is one of your things, Jody. And cooking lights you up too. I've noticed, by the way, I was saying I cooked bread this morning. This is my bread for half a week. And I baked it this morning. And I literally, I have this new thing that I do, which is I'm allowed bread as long as I cook it. And so, here's my bread, my sourdough multigrain bread. And I allow myself a piece of toast every morning, or I can, do other things with it, whatever. But, I had to laugh and I went, isn't that strange? That's my loaf of bread. And I probably around about Thursday, I'll do another one. And the funny thing is, I end up, even then, I end up throwing most of it away, but I just love baking bread. Beth says, I can make people laugh with just a facial expression. I'm stronger than I ever thought I could be. The light after my darkness will never go out again. I was like a living dead person before. Yeah, you were. And we're really glad you're lighting up our life too, Beth. Nash is saying, Beth, were you shy? Because I'm shy as well. I want to tell you, I'm what they call a trained extrovert, right? I'm actually quite shy. I know it's hard to believe, but what happens to me is when I get into with people, I find I'm funny because that sort of gets the barrier down. You know, that makes people laugh, and then I feel better. And I wonder if any of you relate to that. And so my humor is part of my getting over my shyness in some ways. And this is the 12th question in this series, and I liked it. It said, how do you treat people who can do nothing for you? Right? And, that is an interesting question. How do you treat people who can do nothing for you? Do you treat them well? And, one of the interesting conversations, and I intend to get hold of Marnie and get her to give us some input, because part of what I want to do is to help us all learn this balance. Do you treat people equally? We think we do, but we don't. Yeah, Jeannie's saying, I have a used humor to help myself in a bad situation. Yeah. Devon's also saying, I'm funny. And Beth is saying, I was shy in a way that I never thought I was good enough. I don't have to be good enough anymore. I'm me, and that's all I can be. And not only that, Beth, you are the best version of you that you can be every day. I know that. Regardless of what's going on in your life. You have less excuses than anybody I know, Beth. It is, and I don't think I've ever heard you give an excuse. And that is one of the things that I find really fascinating about you. So, Jeannie, I want to dedicate these quotes to you. I tried to think, what could I do that hopefully would be of benefit to you? And so the quotes that I have today are all about just trusting the process, understanding this was no coincidence what happened. So here we go. If you feel like you're losing everything, remember that trees lose their leaves every year, and they still stand tall and wait for the better days to come. Repeat after me. My current situation is not my final destination. And Jeannie, not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear a path. Everything that God allows to come in our way is always with purpose. He uses even the greatest error and deepest pain to mold us into a better person. Everything that God allows to come our way is always with a purpose, right? And for those of you of faith, remember that faith moves mountains. We cannot see the way forward, but we know we must move forward anyway. Because going back is not possible. Staying still is not possible. We need to move forward as best we can, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, and in my case, quite often 1 minute at a time. How about this one? What if you woke up today with only things you thanked God for yesterday? That's a good one, isn't it? Yes, you're saying, Beth, I'm learning the very same thing. I used to seek validation from others, but not anymore. I've been listening to a podcast this week and I found out that I'd been doing things wrong my whole life. No, you haven't been doing things wrong your whole life. I don't want you to ever think that. You have been getting ready for this moment your whole life, Beatrice. You have been getting ready to learn these things your whole life. You were learning things at your age that I waited a lifetime to learn. So understand, this is not that you were doing things wrong. This is about you were getting yourself ready to learn. Yeah, Jeannie saying, I believe that God tests us when he loves us, and he loves us a lot. Yeah. How about this one? Your calling is not meant for you. Sorry, your calling is meant for you, not for everybody else. Everybody may not get it, and that's okay. It is not for them. They weren't designed for this. You were. God didn't place it in their heart, but he placed it in yours. And how about this for a definition of joy? That joy is gladness, not based on circumstance. You see, if Jeannie can get up in the morning and still smile, she has joy in her heart. That she doesn't spend the whole day concentrating on what she has lost, but rather on what she has gained. And that is so difficult when you've lost the very structure, your castle, right? But I think the most wonderful thing is, Jeannie, with your strength of character, you are going to be, in fact, I would really encourage you to keep notes and write the book. You know, write the book on how to restart your life after a major disaster. I think you're going to learn so many things, Jeannie, and you're going to be able to teach so many others who go through devastation because you will have real knowledge. I am so happy that you were prepared, not scared, that you were prepared to have proper insurance on your house. Well done. I remember that somebody said to me, why do you buy earthquake insurance? It's so expensive. And I go, my house is on the San Andreas fault. Well, the extension of it, you know, it goes all the way up and under my house. How did I know that? Because when that fault cracked, and then there was the earthquake in Seattle, it actually, I was in my office and my whole office did this. And I thought, we're having an earthquake and I don't know why. And, I later found out that it was the role of the earthquake in Seattle. Yes, and Jeannie's saying the title of the book will be When My House Burnt Down, ... Yes, wonderful. And why don't you take one page at a time? When my house burnt down, I took with me. When my house burned down, my first thought was you could do some really interesting pages, and then if you want to, you could just keep developing them into complete chapters. Even to the extent, Jeannie, when my house burned down, it's amazing how many stupid people ask me stupid questions, and start, doing that. And then when my house burnt down, it was amazing how many friends came to try and help and, talk about that and why, what the good help as opposed to, you could teach us all so much in this moment. How about this one? Don't give up on the person you are becoming. Right? We all have major change going on in our lives. And don't give up on the person you are becoming. Just know that we will keep being given the challenges that will force us to go in a right direction. Oh, Jeannie, this is for you, honey. I've spent all week thinking, how do I help Jeannie here? And all I can say is that, I think that you could write this book in a way that would help people who've just gone through a loss of a loved one, that, because it's all about loss. I don't know if you've ever read any of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross books, Jeannie, but, she talks so well about that cycle of loss and what happens to us and why it happens. But, you could literally, talk to, this is what I was prepared, not scared, because I read what was likely to happen. But now this is what I found out. I think you could go at it from both ways. Speak this one over to yourself. I am loved and chosen. I am rich in every way and generous on every occasion. I am anointed, appointed, equipped, and enabled by the power of God that works mightily within me. No weapons are formed against me. No weapons formed against me will prosper, and no enemy scheme against me will succeed. I live, I breathe, and serve powerfully under the shelter of the Most High God. You see, I know that we can and will survive if we keep our minds in the right place. I found this one and I loved it. And just bear with me a second. It's called The Prayer for When You Don't Know What to Do. Dear Heavenly Lord, I face situations and decisions. It's complicated and it's dense, I feel confused and lost. Can you help me? Can you show me the light? And first of all, O Lord, calm my heart. Let me know that my peace depends on you alone. No matter how things turn out, with you at the center of my life, I will stand, I will survive. May your spirit keep me balanced, Lord. Show me your will. Let my mind and my heart be open to what best serves truth and life. Give me courage to do what is right. Show me your word. Reveal it in my heart, O Lord, and make my conviction strong. For when I go to you and show you, for when I go to you and you show me your will, the blessing is guaranteed. It may not be easy. It may take time. But upon Christ I stand firm, and in Jesus' name, amen. I just think about, there are going to be so many occasions.
Father God, I thank you for...
There are going to be so many occasions where you're going to realize that so many things are being sent to you in this new process. And it is going to be an enlightening process if you choose to see it that way. You know, Jeannie, when I needed to sell my house and start again, when I needed to get rid of so much of what I earned and come through again, all right, I chose to see this was an opportunity. And even as I unpack, I am still getting rid of so much. You see, this is about, do I have room for it in my new life? And if the answer is no, what am I going to do with it? Am I going to donate it? Am I going to huck it? You know, what am I going to do? How about this one, Jeannie? You have been assigned this mountain to show others it can be moved. And how about this one? When you wake up every morning to fight the same demons that you left so tired the night before. And that, my love, is bravery. I think you're going to have wonderful opportunities to make sure that York knows that you are the best decision he ever made in his life. And he will learn his level of humility and forgiveness and everything else in all of this as well. You know, this is an incredible opportunity for you to support one another. Jeannie says, I am sometimes a reluctant leader, but I can lead. Yes, I believe you totally on that. And this may be your time to do just that. This may be your time to show not that part of you that you have chosen to keep down. So I look at all these things that you have going on around you, and I, in my own way, am looking forward to your stories, Jeannie. And I wonder whether you could perhaps keep a couple that we can share them. All right, maybe keep that notebook and just send them to me. What I learned about losing everything this week is da 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 da. And in that, I think all of us could share in your growth, and all of us could remind ourselves what it's important that we remember. And you know, I don't often talk about God, and I don't often put prayers in my broadcasts, but today I thought it really important because I know that Jeannie is a person of faith, and therefore this is not about me. I thought about what will come through to Jeannie. And Jeannie says that she has amazing friends and that she is a writer and poet. Ah, how did I know that? And so you were trusted with the greatest challenge in some ways. And if you think about it, Jeannie, you had a warning with the pump thing. The pump thing was a near disaster. And you overcame that so beautifully. And now you were trusted with a bigger one. So hang in there, honey, and teach us what we need to learn. Hang in there and share with us what we need to be grateful for. And I will add them into the broadcast if you allow me to have a Jeannie moment every week, and maybe more than one. And by the way, I would like to just do a little bit of feedback for those of you who heard that, you know, Jody refused to rest, and so the material managed to get all caught up in the dog feeds of her sewing machine that forced her to stop and rest. Yeah, I don't believe in coincidences. And you will be pleased to hear that she has now got it working again. Jody, what was the answer? We, you know, just in case any of us get given that lesson, so we can save time. And for those of you who notice, I quote Jody a lot in the broadcast. She is our admin, and she does so much to help us, and we are forever grateful. And for those of you who love the Friday evening laughs, Jody now looks after those for us and puts them together, and we really love that she does that. Thank you, Jody. And you know, it is all about what we can give one another. I've always said that Dear Mama Sal is an extended family if you want one. If you want one. And I don't know about anybody else, but I am pretty honored that in all that's going on in Jeannie's life this week, that she chose to spend time with us. So it's an extra special hug for you, Jeannie, because that is a great honor as far as I'm concerned. So Jody's saying it wasn't the bobbin, it was the upper thread tension discs. It just needed to be rethreaded and a new needle. I wonder who suggested the new needle. Yeah, it's amazing. You know, when you're working with it, it bends the needle, and that messes up a lot. There's a reason why I knew that one. And if you remember, I said to you, it stretched something somewhere as well, right? And that's part of the rethreading. It does, it sorts it out. So well done, Jody. I'm happy because now you're meant to be back working again. And just don't do too much. Take Beth's lesson, right? You don't have to produce a certain number to prove how kind you are. Do the best you can, and that will be good enough. Valentine's Day is just 8 months and 11 days away. And for those of you, we have just 200 days until Christmas. Is it coming up fast or is it just me? Yeah, I find that really interesting. We've got 5 months and 26 days to get our cards into the overseas mail. US Thanksgiving is 5 months and 3 weeks away. And for those of you in Canada, like myself, we've got 4 months and 6 days. And for those of you in the States, you have just over a month to get your taxes in. In fact, a month and a week. And, you know, I keep thinking that every week I talk to you about how long it's been since I moved. And it's now 4 months and 27 days since I moved in here. And the reason I keep mentioning that is because I keep remembering how far I've come. You know, I don't know if any of you can relate to this, and Jeannie, remember this as well, that, you know, I have a tendency to beat up on myself about how little I have done. And yet, and then I compare myself, you know, if so-and-so were here, they would have got this all unpacked by now. And I'm going, yes, but you're not so-and-so. And you did a wonderful job. I have to keep reminding myself, you did a wonderful job of packing everything up and moving on your terms. And you now get to do this on your terms, unpacking. And then there's a little bit of me that starts to panic and go, but winter is coming. And I'm going, wouldn't it be lovely to be able to still be alive come the winter? Because people are dying because of the pandemic. All right. So, you know, would you stop worrying about you haven't finished it by the winter? This is about just keep going one step at a time. You're proving that it works beautifully. And Jeannie's saying, many warm thanks, Sal and friends. I appreciate you all. Well, I want to tell you, Jeannie, that you are going to teach us so much. And for that, I am so thankful. So whether you want to write a poem or whether you want to just give us some notes about what it is that you have learned this week, I think we can turn that into a book. You know what I mean? If you think about the fact that you need to add to the Dear Mama Sal broadcast, you will write the notes that are necessary, and at the end of it, you're going to have a book. Because you will have tracked the whole process. Does that make sense? And Yesha's saying, also, I'm not financially stable, so I'm unable to help you. I wish I could, but I can't. You see, Niesha, you are thinking the only way that you can help Jeannie is with money. No. Not all people are meant to help people with money. Some people, and I know that you would do that. You know, some people are meant to help with support. And, you know, it's a different thing. And if you're saying, but how can I support her? If Jeannie wants to give me permission, I will send her I'll send you her email address, and then you can write to her if that is, you know, or any other way, Jeannie. I know that Nyasha really would love to support you. So any way that she can, let me know. You don't have to do it here, Jeannie, but let me know so I can pass it on and get her connected with you. Is that better, Nyasha? Is that really what you're looking for, right? How you can support her your way, doing the best you can your way. You see, what we all need to know. Okay, thanks, Jeannie. What we all need, Jody, could you make a note for me, please? What we all need to know is that we don't have to do it other people's way. Sometimes our way is the better way for us and for them. So try not to judge yourselves. I have come across all sorts of organizations where some people just threw money at things, but other people did the work. Do you understand the difference? Some people just threw money at things, and then other people did the work. And so I don't care what part of life you're in. Understand we need both. We need people who can throw money at it, but we also need the people who can do the underground support. And I believe in my heart that both are equally valuable. However, we need a little bit of both. And that is why we're constantly reminded and we are constantly facing situations where different things are called for. Some things we need help emotionally. Some things we need help financially. Some things we need to save for. Right? Some things we need to buy. Jeannie's saying one friend came by with a computer to help me buy 2 new phones online. She adores Misty, that's the dog, and made her happy. You see, you are giving friends an opportunity to do what they can to help. And I think that's absolutely wonderful. So you're going to get 2 new phones. Are we talking cell phones? So you're going to have 3 because you're using one at the moment, right? But you see, it's about starting again. It's about, boy, if you had to buy a phone today, you probably were thinking it was about time for a new phone. That's a big peculiar thing. Were you at any stage thinking maybe it's time to upgrade the house? Because if you were, smile. You're going to be given that opportunity. And I am so looking forward to everything you're going to teach us along the way. And I don't know if Beth is still listening, but Beth, I'm really looking forward to our Clean It tip of the week. And anything else that you care to share. And I just want to say that all these lessons are important. We all here at DearMamaSal live vicariously through other people's lives, right? And we have sadness. When I realized that Cristobal, the storm, is heading, back into New Orleans and that area around there, I immediately thought of Lolo and her family and what that could mean for them. And, we all get to live these things through each other. And that's what community is about, I think. Yeah, Niasha's saying that she'd definitely like to be able to help, but she does so wish that she could help with money. Well, I wish I could have Brad Pitt, Niasha, but I'm not going to have him. Okay? Do you understand? All right? Let us help you give her the support that you can. And that will be more than enough, Niasha. That is your contribution. And I don't want you to feel that your contribution is less than anybody else's, because it isn't. And the people with money will send money. The people with things will give things. The people, understand, each of us will give what we can, how we can, when we can. So trust the process, all of us, right? That was the whole thing about this broadcast. Trust the process. Whatever is happening in your life, trust the process. None of it is by accident, if you like. And, you know, I say none of it's by accident. We know accidents happen. But, you know, it's okay to start again. It's okay to be given these challenges, because we also are given the opportunities to learn from them. And yes, you're saying, Mama Sal, I'm a generous person, even though I'm struggling myself. Just the idea that I can help out and assist someone warms my heart, and it makes me happy. Yeah, that is the point I'm making, Niesha. We all give what we can. And that is okay. It is enough. Jody, whether you make 3 masks or 30 or 300, I don't think is the issue. The fact that you got the sewing machine out and you are making masks for other people is the issue. The fact you're doing what you can to help is the issue. And doing more than you thought you could is the reward, because in a way, I'm pretty sure you're using muscles and retraining the muscles in your hand. I want to ask that question, Jody. Is the arthritis any better in your hands for doing the sewing? Is your back core strength getting any better by doing the sewing? Because maybe that was the gift. You know, that's the, to me, that is the gift of when something drives us to do something unusual and we end up going, wow, I think that works. So we will see. I want to thank you all for being here, and those of you who are helping us support Jeannie. I want you all to understand this is not without reason. Jeannie's saying, we thanked fire departments in 3 towns. They saved medicine, some important mementos, and jewelry. Yeah, I am sure they are grateful. And so here we go, 1 more week. Aren't we lucky to be alive? Aren't we lucky to have friends? Aren't we lucky to have each other? It's a DearMamaSal saying, don't ever forget that. Every day, be grateful for what you have. It's not what I had yesterday, but be grateful for what you have. For that, we need to be grateful. I am grateful to be here and breathing and alive. And I am so thankful for you all, for all that you do for one another. This is DearMamaSal saying, love you. See you Friday. Bye-bye for now.